Hello everyone, in this video we are going to use lobbying dataset from Washington State to analyze the data with Tableau. So first we need to import the data, and we are going to use this time Microsoft Excel option because we are going to open an Excel file. Click on it and then choose the data, lobbying data, and click open. Under connections you can see the lobbying tab, and we can drag this data here. And then select sheet 1 to go to the Tableau workbook, just as we did before. Let's look again at the total paid by local governments for lobbying. Remember, we created a calculated field to create a total column. In order to create total column, we click on analysis and create calculated field and choose here total. And then we want to know the total compensation and expenses paid to lobbyists. And we sum compensation and expenses. The calculation is valid, we apply and then click OK. Now we have a calculated column on the left hand side of Tableau. So we can drag this total column onto columns, and then Tableau automatically creates a bar chart, and you can choose the tabular chart for text tables. And now on the screen you see the total spent by local governments to lobbyists. With Tableau, as in many software programs, there are multiple ways to do the same thing. You can choose the text table or you can choose the bar table, and you can be able to find out the total amount. One thing you may have noticed that Tableau automatically aggregates your data by the sum. If you look at the green pill on the column shelf, you see that total is aggregated by the sum. While Tableau will automatically sum your data, that's not the only aggregation it can do. So let's say you want to know the average or you want to know the median. In order to do that, click on this green pill and then choose measures, and you can change to average, or you can change this to median. So let's compare average and median. Why do we want to compare? If you are working with numbers that have no or little upward limit, then an average can be skewed higher, because average is total divided by the number of data points. Baseball player salaries are one example. One star player will make the average skew much higher. Home prices are another, where one mention can skew the average. In contrast, the median plugs the exact middle value, so it is often more representative number for your sample. Therefore, we want to compare with average and median. So let's track the total on the text shelf here. Now you can change this measure to average, and also let's track total one more time, and this time let's change it to median. And from show me menu, let's choose the bar. And now you can be able to compare average and the median on the screen by comparing the bars. So when you click on the show me menu, it shows other options that you can use to visualize the data. Text tables is an option, bar charts is an option, and you can also choose the bullet graphs. And as you realize that some of the options are grayed out, that means it's not possible to use it with the data you have. So the bullet chart is an option. We choose the bullet chart. So bullet charts are usually used to look at a target versus the reality. In this case, we will tweak that traditional use of bullet chart to look at the median compared to the average. You'll see a bar chart with a line marked on it. The thin black line is the median, which is 14,340, and the blue bar represents the average, which is 19,260. Of course, just because you can use a certain chart doesn't mean you should in every instance, but if you don't like what you have done after playing around with the data for a few minutes, just hit the undo button here. This arrow represents the undo, and you can get rid of this chart, like in this case. And here you come back to the previous screen. Now, another way of deleting a chart is just drag off the pills to get rid of the bullet graph with average and median. But what if we want to save this chart for easy reference? We can save it by leaving that viz and then adding a new sheet where you can do more analysis or copy the existing sheet. So you'll notice that the sheet tabs, very similar to Excel, are on the bottom of the workbook. There is a little plus sign by the three small icons to the right of the current sheet. The first one is for a new sheet, and there is an icon that looks like window panes. That is for the dashboard, and the next one is a new story. We will learn about dashboards and stories in the following modules. For now, let's click on this plus sign, and now you will have a new worksheet open in front of you. So let's save this one. Click on sheet 1 and rename bullet chart. Average versus median. Now let's create the bullet chart again. Text, and we want it as average, and then we want this as median, and show me pane, and then choose bullet chart. The first bullet chart gives us a useful summary of the median lobbying payment and that average. But let's take a closer look by the type of entity or government. So therefore we are going to choose entity type and drag it to the row shelf. Now you can see a big difference that indicates there's just a few local governments in total entity. In that entity type accounted for much of the money going to the lobbyists. For instance, look at the difference in median and mean in counties. So median total is 6,738 and average total is 17,883. So why we have this huge disparity? Because we have only 2 counties spend more than 60,000 on lobbying efforts. They also are the 2 most populous counties in the state, King County and the Pierce County. So let's save this one too, rename bullet chart, and this time entity type. Now let's open another worksheet. This time we want to drill in more onto the specific governments which each entity type and look at how much they pay lobbyists. So we are going to move entity to rows and total to the columns, and then we are going to order in a descending order. But what if we want to just look at counties or cities or tribes? We are going to use here the power of filters. So let's see how we can filter the data. We are going to drag entity type onto filters card, and then you will see a dialog box, and then click OK. Click on the caret on the right side of the entity type. The drop down will offer you some choices, and here choose show filter. Next we are going to modify our filter options. Click on the caret on the right side of your filter to the right of the entity type, and then choose single value list. Now you can practice selecting and reselecting different entity types. You can easily see the amount of lobbying by the various local governments, but filtered by the type of government. So you can choose counties here, you can choose other, ports, and anything you like. Next, what if we want to get a sense of how much each of these gave as a percentage out of the total? Should we do another calculated field? No, we don't. We can easily drag this total onto tooltip, and then here we can use the quick table calculation and choose percent of total. Now when you hover over the bars, you can see that there is another row. It says percentage of total, a long table. Let's save this worksheet. Bar chart, entity type. And now next we are going to talk about tree map. Tree maps is a way to look at parts out of the total. Tableau has some nice shortcuts. So when we want to create tree map, we are going to get advantage of these shortcuts. Instead of dragging the pill out to a certain shelf, we double click on total, and then we double click on entity type. Then we click on show me, and then choose the tree map. If you hover over each section, we can see that the total in lobbying to that entity type. So cities paid total $870,602 for lobbying. You can change the color scheme of your tree map by double clicking on the color and then selecting edit colors. Let's select shades of green. Apply and OK. We can also make adjustment to tooltip style. Since we are using the tooltip with this tree map, let's take advantage to learn how to edit a tooltip. Click on the tooltip. In the mark shelf, a box will open. You can edit the font and the text. You can make it, for instance, bold. And let's change entity type to government. And then click OK. Now you see entity type government when you hover over tree map. We can also add quick table calculations and choose percentage of total. So let's save our tree map. So this is how you do some basic simple charts and calculations using Tableau. Thank you for watching this video.